It's been 7 years since Rachel vanished. One minute, I was waving goodbye from the porch as she left for a jog. The next, I was searching the woods behind our home, screaming her name until my throat bled. The cops found nothing. No witnesses, no signs of struggle. Her phone was left on the kitchen counter, her car untouched, just gone. They called it a cold case after 6 months. But I never stopped searching. I kept her toothbrush in a Ziploc for DNA, paid a psychic in Des Moines, got a private investigator who later admitted he took my money and ran. The grief became part of the furniture. I stopped sleeping in our bed. Eventually, I boxed her clothes and stored them in the attic. I never remarried, never moved. I think I was afraid that if I changed anything, she wouldn't find her way home. Then, last week, she walked through the front door like nothing had happened. She looked exactly the same. Same auburn curls, same laugh lines, same little scar above her lip from when we tried to open a bottle of wine with a house key. No older, not even by a day. I just stood there, holding a mug of coffee that was suddenly too heavy to lift. "Hey, babe," she said, smiling. "Did you miss me?" I dropped the mug. It shattered. We sat at the kitchen table for hours. She said she remembered jogging and then darkness. She woke up in a place she couldn't describe. No walls, no ceiling, just voices. She thought it had only been days. When I showed her the date, she blinked once, then asked for tea, just like she used to. And she remembered everything. Our first date, the name of our cat, even though he died 3 years ago. The time I cried watching Babe. Nobody else knew that, but something about her smile felt too practiced. The little things came first. She poured milk in her coffee. Rachel hated milk. She claimed to love pepperoni now. My wife was vegetarian. She stared at the TV when it was off, like it was playing something only she could see. Then there were the mirrors. She never looked at herself. She brushed her hair in the hallway, always facing the wall. Once I caught her in the bathroom, just standing there, eyes closed in front of the mirror, as if listening. And she never blinked when we spoke. Her eyes were locked on me, unblinking, like she was studying how to be human. Even Max, my dog, who loved her more than me, growled every time she entered the room. Then, one night, I found her writing in the basement. She quickly hid the notebook, but not fast enough. I saw dates, long, precise entries, dated from the past 7 years. She said she didn't remember anything, so why had she written about places she'd seen, things she'd done? I mailed off a hair sample. The DNA lab emailed back, result insufficient data, biological degradation detected. Sample is not consistent with standard human DNA. I called Officer Laramie, the one who took Rachel's missing person report all those years ago. He drove out, looked her dead in the eye, and quietly asked to speak with me alone. "I don't know who that is," he said, "but she's not in any database, not DMV, not Social Security, nothing." He left before dark. That night, I confronted her. She didn't deny anything. She just said, "I wasn't supposed to come back, but I had to. They let me go because I told them about you." That night, I woke up to whispering. She was standing at the foot of my bed. Her lips weren't moving, but I could hear her, not in my ears, inside my head. "Do you remember the hospital? When you stopped breathing for 2 minutes and 43 seconds, you saw them, didn't you?" I sat up, heart hammering. I had never told anyone about that night. I was 12, pneumonia. Heart stopped, and I did see something. Light, shadows, watchers behind a veil. I'd convinced myself it was a dream. She stepped closer. "They've been watching you ever since. Through me. I wasn't the only one they took. I was just the one they sent back." Her face twitched then, like a glitch in a video file. She smiled, wider than Rachel ever could. And in a voice that was hers but wasn't, she said, "Tell me, Daniel, do you really remember who you are?" I didn't sleep after that night. How could I? She curled into bed beside me like nothing had happened, breathing slow even, perfectly mimicking the woman I loved. But I lay there rigid, staring at the ceiling, replaying those words. "Do you really remember who you are?" I started digging the next morning. Medical records from when I was 12? Gone. Hospital said their archives didn't go back that far, except I'd seen them 5 years ago during a life insurance claim. I called my mother. She hesitated when I asked about my pneumonia. "You didn't have pneumonia," she finally said. "It was a seizure. You stopped breathing, but they never figured out why. You were different after, quieter, like you were waiting for something." Waiting for what? Rachel changed again after our conversation. She didn't speak for an entire day, not out of anger. It felt more like observation, like she was done pretending. That night, I caught her standing by the bedroom window at 3:33 a.m., the same time 3 nights in a row. Just standing. I whispered, "Rachel." She turned her head, not her body, just her head, 180 degrees like an owl, and smiled. "I like this house," she said. It's a good container." Container? The dog disappeared the next day. Max never left the backyard. I found his collar in the sink, wet and still warm. She shrugged. "Some things don't come back, right?" I went back to the basement. The notebook was gone, but I noticed the concrete floor looked new. Poorly patched, like someone had hastily filled something in. I dug. Took hours. Beneath the layer of cement, I found a small metal panel, embedded in the floor. Smooth, cold, with a single symbol carved into it, a shape that made my nose bleed just looking at it, like a spiral made of eyes. When I touched it, the lights in the house flickered. Rachel screamed upstairs, not in pain, in anger. She knew what I'd found. I ran. Drove 2 towns over to a library that still had microfiche, found an old clipping, "Local boy clinically dead, recovers miraculously." 1996. That was me. There was a man listed as a consulting doctor, a neurologist named Dr. Ira Klemper. I tracked him down. He was in a care home now. Non-verbal, they said, early onset dementia. But when I showed him a photo of Rachel, he started crying. "She was one of them," he whispered. "Not the first, won't be the last. They use faces, wear them. We thought it was brain death. It was handover." Handover? His hands trembled. "They marked you when you crossed over. You think you lived, Daniel? You didn't. You're just on loan." When I got home, the lights were out. Rachel stood in the hallway, waiting. "You've been talking," she said. I backed up toward the door. "You're not my wife." She smiled. "I was, once, before they restructured me. I want the truth." She stepped forward. "You want truth? You never came back, Daniel. That boy on the hospital table, that was the shell. You crossed into the other side. They let a piece of you slip back through, into this timeline." She pointed to my chest. "But you're not anchored. You're leaking. That's why they sent me." I could barely breathe. "So what now?" She leaned in close. "You remember the watchers behind the veil. They remember you. You were the only one who looked back." And then gently, "They want you to come home." I don't remember falling asleep, but I woke up the next morning in bed, alone. The house was silent. The mirror in the hallway was shattered. The metal panel in the basement? Gone. There was only one thing left, the notebook, sitting on the kitchen table, one final entry in my handwriting. "The container failed. The subject is aware. Initiating reclamation protocol." At the bottom of the page, written in red ink, one line, "She was never Rachel. And you were never Daniel." Please like and subscribe my channel.